Hi, I'm Style-Wise Style Editor Jon Jordan, and today we're going to talk about something really serious. This is about sanitizing your makeup. And while it's always been important to keep your makeup kit and your brushes clean, there's a difference between keeping them clean and actually sanitizing them to protect you from germs and viruses. So let's take a look at what that entails, and it's pretty specific. There's not a lot of leeway here. So the key to this is isopropyl alcohol, all right? It's really the only thing that will guarantee that your products and surfaces will be germ-free. I like 91%. You can see that 91% is the way to go. It should be at least 60%. Usually if you're in a store, drugstore, discount store, any place that sells alcohol like this, the choices usually are 70%, which is fine, or 91%, but let's make 91% the goal, okay? The easiest way, in my opinion, to dispense the product all over your makeup products, your skincare, and your surfaces, and anything for that matter, is I like to put it in a little travel size spray bottle like this. And that way you can just, put it wherever you need to, and it's not going to spill out and be sloppy. Although sloppy isn't necessarily a bad thing when it comes to alcohol, because here's how it works. You have to saturate all of the surfaces, and that means get them wet. It's not just about sort of, glazing over them with a quick wipe or even, misting to the point where that sort of lands on the surface and it's not a commitment, okay? A commitment in terms of alcohol is saturation. So you want wet surfaces, that's the goal. Okay, this spray bottle though, you might be surprised when it comes to your dry cosmetic products. And by that I mean like a pressed powder, bronzer, blush, and eyeshadow. So you might be a little bit leery about the fact that this is dry and it's a powder and delicate. But the way that you have to make sure that it's sanitized is to saturate it, okay? Again, you gotta get this really wet, dripping wet. The good thing about alcohol though is that it evaporates quickly. And again, it's the evaporation process that makes sure that whatever surface you're spraying it on is sanitized, okay? Wet, evaporation, sanitized. That's the formula. There are some other considerations though. And I would like to point out that brushes can be a real problem for people. There are commercial products out there, in the market that are specifically designated as cosmetic brush cleaners. Most of them, all of them that I have seen thus far, don't have high enough alcohol content to sufficiently kill germs. So even though they're marketed to specifically clean your makeup brushes, I am going to sort of walk you through a process here that might seem a little bit involved, but trust me, it's the only way to do it. First of all, you have to get the gunk out of your brushes. You want to get all that residue. And I would suggest like a big glass of water and then a highly concentrated dish detergent. So what's highly concentrated? See on this package where it says 3 times more grease cleaning power. Okay, the idea is simply that it's concentrated detergent. So that in itself will be a safeguard. So you put it in, and then you swish your brushes around. You may want to let them soak for a while, but get all of that excess gunk out of your brushes, okay? Then I'm going to take you to the next step, which is you want to rinse them. You want to get all of that detergent out. But then the next step is, so they're clean, all right? Let's assume they're clean at this point. But we're talking about sanitization here. So in order to do that, we're going to take the clean brushes and now put them in alcohol. That's what makes them sanitized. Okay, and so some of you are probably thinking, like, alcohol is really harsh on my expensive cosmetic brushes. Sometimes they make, cosmetic brushes out of things like sable, and, I'm not a big fan of making brushes out of animals, but there are very expensive brushes out there. That is the point. So if you're worried about the alcohol damaging the bristles, and drying them out, then let's go to the next step, and that would be another glass of water. And you can take a little bit of conditioner that you would use like on your hair, and you can put that in the glass. And then you can swish your cleaned and sanitized brushes around and make them more supple. Okay, so that's a way to counteract the alcohol. Okay, a couple more things to address here. Let's talk about makeup expiration dates. This has always been a topic that, people have weighed in on, and, I've heard, like, you don't keep mascara around for more than 2 months without running the risk of, getting an eye infection. A simple way to look at this, though, would be wet versus dry products. A wet product would be something like a foundation that's a solid cream like this, or something that comes out of a bottle. It could be skincare, it could be makeup. I personally would not keep any of those items around for more than a couple of months. Dry products like the aforementioned eyeshadow, blushes, pressed powder, bronzers, anything that's dry, you can keep those for much longer. I would say maybe 6 months. Some people will say, oh, you can keep those for, an unlimited amount of time. I just think it's better to be safe than sorry. So another little trick, now that you're convinced that you have to saturate the eyeshadow like this in order to keep it sanitized, if you are clumsy and you drop a pressed powder product like this, whether it be, eyeshadow, blush, etc., and they crack, you can actually put the pieces back in, the ones that you can retrieve off of the floor or wherever they have, dispersed to, and pack them in as efficiently and as well as you can. Spray the alcohol onto the product, and it will bond the loose fragments to the container again. Just a little helpful hint. And they're sanitized too. So the last thing that I want to cover is packaging, because this is something that people don't necessarily think about. Again, in this day and age of, being super safe and cautious about contamination, you can see an open, wide-mouthed container like this is just sort of inviting any kind of, virus or germ. It's a great landing pad, in other words. And take it a step further, an open mouth bottle, even if it's smaller than this, it's the same problem. And the problem exists basically because you're using your fingers. I mean, when you stick your finger in here and go from container to face, you are, by putting your finger in there again, you're possibly contaminating it. So the way to avoid that problem would be to rethink packaging. A tube container like this is my eye cream, but if I want to avoid contamination, I can dispense the product like that, okay? I don't have to make direct contact with the tip of this tube and my skin to be able to use it and to keep it sanitized. The best option, though, would be to find skincare, foundation, anything that you can in a pump, all right? So think about this. It's like all you have to do is give it a couple of pumps and the product is immediately dispensed without any kind of direct contact. So all of these things might seem a little tedious, but you know, your safety and your health is at stake here. So it's more important than ever to reframe the conversation from clean to sanitized, because there are two different things. Using witch hazel won't do it like alcohol. Using natural things like lemon, I've even heard that people use vodka to sanitize things. They don't work. It's only high concentration of isopropyl alcohol. So I know that I've been yammering on and on about this, but it really, really is important. I hope that you have learned something today on StyleWise. Again, it's very serious. I'd like to hear back from you, actually. Leave a comment. Be great if you would subscribe. I will see you next time on StyleWise. Thanks for watching. Like what you're seeing? Well, share it with your friends and please subscribe to our channel.